Okay, so hardcore tutorial. I start with just some normal ass samples. Just delete this from this reason. Uh, just grab some stuff I have, which is like this kick, normal kick, long kick, shitty snare. So, the objective here is make kick. So, to make kick, first thing that's kind of nice to start with, I'll go with, I guess 160. It'll be a nice one. I'll try and go for something a bit more high pitched, I guess. So here, I think I'll start using the snare as a bass to just create the kind of punch tone of the snare, which is the first element you start with generally because that's kind of the tone and whatever, the main sound of the snare. So I have this snare here. So this snare, I'm going to turn it into the punch, right? So I'm just gonna grab that transient of it. I'm gonna try and pitch it up first. I'm actually going to then bounce this, I think, because it doesn't go up quite high enough. So I'm gonna grab an Edison. That is the wrong plugin. I am, very smart person. There you go. And I can just, there you go. Grab this, boom, boom, boom. So, grab my bounce and push it up again. And that's a cool sound. You can definitely like fuck around with different forms of pitching. I think that's an okay start. So, I'm gonna grab the right size here. So, first things first, we're gonna want to make this a tiny bit longer here. A tiny bit. There we go. That's an okay sound to start with. Then I'm going to grab very quickly a Procure. Because yeah, you can tell there's a lot of there's a lot of junk down there. There we go. Then we can start off with just a bit of, distort it. Then we EQ again. Again, nothing crazy for now. It's just what everyone will tell you, just EQ and distortion. There you go. I like the little knock that one gives it. It's nice. It's nice. It's an okay one. And then I'll use this here is just some wave shipping. Pretty simple. I think we've got an okay start here. What you'll notice is this has basically just, it's got no sub, essentially. So, next thing we do is we're going to try and get a bit of sub onto the punch. Because generally you do want that, otherwise you kind of just have a lot of missing energy. So I'll use this one here, because it sounds kind of subby, so it's going to be a nice way to just get some sub onto here. No. See, that's pretty nice. I'll move this up here so it makes a bit more sense for later. So this here, I'm going to put on track number 2. So let me just rename this real quick. So that's the punch tone, rev a punch sub. Now here, this one very simple. Again, the punch sub doesn't need to be really loud. That's for sure. It really doesn't need to. or here. Yeah, it's a bit more on there. I'll just try and give this a tiny bit more transient. You know, classic move here. Kind of that just always works now, doesn't it? Now, what I can do is get a bit more transient on this. I think it's missing a bit of click. And again, you might have guessed this is gonna be really simple. Basically, just want that. A lot of the time, I will just here you go, click it a bit. Or if you're in FL, you can do out only no bleeding, and you can see even though it's cut right there, it doesn't click because that's the FL click thing, whatever. It exists. It exists. That's good enough for me. So here you go. It's good to get a bit of tone on that transient. Journey adds quite a bit to the overall sound. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then, as always, I'll just use the funny plugin again to wave shaping. But it's so fucking loud, it doesn't clip properly. Yeah, I'll need to fix that fucking plugin one day. I'll just clip it afterwards. See, that adds a little bit. Now, onto the fun part, which is going to be handling, in general, the sub. So I'll do this in two parts, because when it comes to the sub, there's basically you're gonna make the actual like tail of the kick, and generally it's gonna be we're going for a more raw style whatever thing. So your tail is gonna be very low and heavy, and you might distort it, but then it doesn't feel quite like it matches the tone and punch of the kick. So it sounds kind of bad, honestly. So my solution in general has been you have a reverb that is on the actual punch of the kick, and that will flow into the next kick. It's got a nice gate on it and whatever. I'll show you. And then you actually create a second reverb send on top of that one, which will not go directly to like the output of the full kick, but will instead be mixed together with the tail to distort them together, kind of like how you do a noise bass, right? Noise bass mentioned. Dubstep. Anyways, for the tail, I'm gonna do the funny, which is I'm gonna grab an existing, just like normal kick, a decently long kick, but this is a normal kick, right? I will make it be another. This one kind of sounds a little funny. I'll try and see if I can cheese out a tiny bit of like a lower pitch. I'll definitely just make it a bit less loud. You know what? I think I can work with this one. I think we can make something kind of cool out of it. So, this is tail bass. Now, the tail bass is quite simple. I'm going to solo it so we can just kind of dial in which part of this we think is cool. So I'm going to first cut this, because that I know is pretty bad. We fade it in. Probably want a bit of a later. This is nice. It's clicking just because, you know, this. Yeah, I might be able to make that work. We'll see. So, first thing you generally want to do on this, very simple, you distort it. This one sounds really fucking funny, because of the fact it's fucking elastic mono. I'm actually not sure if it'll sound good. We'll see. This is actually me fucking around with something I never properly did before. So, we'll see. Just, you know, try and give it a bit more tone by shaping it like that. And again, I can show you that you can use most distortion plugins out there. They'll work fine. You can use something like this, right? And then I can set the knee at 3 decibels and boost it a bit. This sounds like poo-poo. And that's a bit better. If you have FL, use Pogo. Otherwise, what you can do is you can do like a pitch automation on your tail sample, like in the sample editor, in either Ableton or Bitwig or whatever DAW you're using, and it should get you a similar result to what I'm getting here with Pogo. So, let's listen in context of this. So as you can see, as I was saying, this shit sounds very disconnected. So we'll start by having a kick master, we'll call it. I'll even change the color to like red so we can tell it's this. Alright, there's the master of it. Now, most things will just route to master, quote unquote. But the tail bass, for example, it'll be sent to a tail bus for that. And the punch itself, the actual like tone, will be sent to 2 different channels. And one of them goes to the master, and one of them goes to tail bus. I'll start with this one, which is clean verb, for example, and I'll mute this one. So I'll fix first this. So here, what you want to do is get a 100% wet reverb. I'll have to punch in here because this shit's small, but what you want to do is just get reverb straight up, just full wet, just get some reverb on here. Just kind of turn down everything that's below here. You really don't care about that low end. Here we go. Let's, try something like this. Then you want to get some kind of a plugin to do a volume automation. In FL, I'll use Fruity Limiter, not Fruity Balance, because Fruity Balance has just too much smoothing on the gain knob. Fruity Limiter, the gain knob on it actually doesn't have that much smoothing. So that's quite a bit, but not as much. Ceiling all the way up. Then you just get an automation. So first automation, quite simple. Start at 0. Here you go, like this, and you add a point here. Boom, boom. And generally, you might, we're making hardcore, so of course, we need some OTT on this, dude. We need it. Whatever, right? Then here, what you'll do is basically have the same kind of setup. I'll just copy over the plugins. Well, I'm explaining this. This one here, what we do is basically get the exact same setup. The main difference is going to be the actual automation that we do. It's going to be pretty different. Actually, that's a good idea. Let me make sure they init at 0. It's just a file thing. And here, we'll create any automation clip. One will be master. This will be tail verb. There you go. So we have 2 different reverbs, one clean that goes to the master and one tail that goes to the tail bus alongside the actual normal tail. And this one here, very simple. You just go here, boom, boom, boom. Basically the same automation, just this one a bit more up. And then turn this on. And now you have the tail verb and the clean verb going, the tail verb and the tail bass going together in the tail bus. And that's where the magic happens, because then you're going to distort the tail and the reverb together, and it's just going to make them come together nicely as one. It's going to glue it, and it's going to make it sound like it makes more sense, basically, in the context of the song. I want to get this a bit more like this. Here, I think what I need to do is just turn these down. There's gonna be a lot of just tuning stuff a bit. I'm gonna try making another punch because this one kind of doesn't sound quite right. So I'm gonna try and make it with a kick. Here we go. Just cut it a bit. Multiply it a bit. I can make it work. So, cut that. Boom. Here we go. Hell yeah, no, this is real audio. One's kind of funny. I'm willing to try with this one, honestly. It sounds kind of funny. It sounds kind of funny. I'm gonna save the old one, just move it to this side. Let's try with this. This does sound actually kind of cool. I think what could be interesting is grabbing that dry. There you go. That's what I kind of. So this, here it goes. You can make some funny sounds like this, man. I'm actually kind of getting something I like here. This could work, like straight up. And I have to quickly tune it a bit. As always, you can just kind of fuck around. This will go in. So, process here, quite simple. High pass. This might work, yeah. Here you go, mix that out. There you go. And then add a K clip, soften. And a stab, boost, start with low. There you go. Let's try this now. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. I'll just soft clip it. This guy here, I think I could make him sound a bit more fun. Can probably pitch it up a bit more now. Again, starting this point, you can kind of just fuck around. Right here, I'm starting to think it starts a bit too early. You know, maybe like this. last step, once you kind of have a cool kick, again, this one, the best thing I've ever made, but I think it does, you know, showcase a bit of what you can do. So I guess it's cool on that kind of side of things. Here we go. Just do this, set like 2 decibels in, and then what you can do, for example, if you have this AP shaper here, you can just, you know, fuck around with it. There we go. Turn it down a little bit so we can get, you know, a bit more distortion in. There you go. Kind of get something going. There we go. I really have to do that? Man. Oh, zipper noise, dude. Anyways. Can do something funny and just grab this old one. Yeah, that sounds like shit, right? Here we go. Probably just feed a blow over driving. Here we go. Make this a bit longer. Anyways, that's kind of one kick. I'll actually export this one. So here we are. I'll just, you know, here, that's one kick, right? I can actually, one thing I do want to show is just making a second tail. I'll just, you know, finish this off, make a second tail. So quite simple. I'll also put this on number 8. God, that is a funny fucking chain. First things first, get that off. Let's see if we can turn this sound here into an actual hardcore kick. So, first things first, make that shit long. It might be good, actually. Like, I've made good kicks out of shit that sounds like this, so... That one is like a really nice tone to it. Holy shit. Got a bit of this. This one's kind of fucking awesome, dude. Like, straight up, you can just... Again, if you were like really, really good, you know, and when I make, for example, like an actual song and I make kicks, and I put a lot of effort and I put a lot of time into it, I'll generally, you know, just try and change more stuff around. When I do this, here, I'm using the same fucking chain again, right? I'm being lazy because I just want to show stuff. But this is cool, right? Like, you kind of reach a point where you can just change the inputs. You can change some of the effects. You can change some of the settings on the reverbs. That is top 10 exports ever. Um, you can just change settings on stuff. It's really at this point that, like, making kicks becomes really fucking funny. You can just do stuff like this, right? You can do. This one's a bit more high pitched. Maybe it's not quite loud enough, so I'll just clip it a bit. Well, that's pretty good too. Like, I fuck with that. You can make so much shit, man. Like, once you have that idea of the fact that that's kind of the process that works, right? You can of course, use different plugins. For example, I really like using Vintage Warmer on some stuff sometimes, not always, but sometimes I do. And you probably won't find too many other hardcore producers using Vintage Warmer for their high end and like enjoy all their tail mixing, right? To kind of that, right? That sounds nice. And I could just go here, right, where I have that kick there. Just maybe get in here, find the screen, change the tone knob. Honestly, I think this one actually kind of fucking sounds dope, dude. And look, I can just bring this guy back. Maybe I can, oh, well, I like this one, but I want to make a new one, so I'll go, oh, make unique, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then I go, oh, maybe other distortion. Like, you can't just fucking make stuff, dude. I love doing this. This is so fun, man. What the fuck is this, dude? Like, what is this? This is so fucking funny, dude. Like, I'm sure you could, like, make this sound cool. Again, here, that, mode in the scream is funny because there's a sound of bias, but, it's funny how it sounds when there's nothing there. But you can use other types of distortion. Let's say I want to go a bit funny. I can do this cold fire. So on your Arturia plugin, it has just a bunch of different distortion models in there, and you can do parallel and serial processing. Here, I'll just make a funny one, right? I can just do something funny. There's a default template. Here you go. I can go and maybe, I'll do this one kind of blind. This one sounds kind of bad. Maybe if I pitch that one up a bit. Here we go, it still sounds like shit. It's whatever. You fuck around. You'll find something good at some point. Again, this one pretty mid-heavy. Again, I think I'll end it with this one because it is starting to devolve into shit because I'm just doing random stuff at this point. But it's whatever. You can just do stuff, man. You just do stuff. And at some point, you'll get some cool sounds, right? Like you get this. Again, I guess one last thing I can do. How about we make one last punch? Alright, let's make it out of this sample. So we make one out of every sample we've used. So here we go. Add that a bit. I have a little idea. So I have this thing here that would high pass it, right? This one, I'm gonna do a little. So we have this, right? Little sound. We basically have a saw wave at this point, just like, you know. Punch, guy. Boom, boom, boom. First thing we do, high pass that. Boom. Alright. What I'll do, I think, is grab the start. And then for what's here, I'm gonna grab more of the end. Kind of crossfade it in. You know? A little funny. Pretty fast this. I might just straight up 100% it. High pass. Always a bit of wave shaping. And then one last bit of, I guess we'll put OTT on there. Go, Procure. And then a stab. And that should be it. Should probably bounce it to remove like the ringing tail, but I'm too lazy, so we're not gonna do that. But you should. Here we go, and again, I'd have to quickly tune these. And I can show you a cool little method when you're too lazy to always make your own kicks. So you find one that has a cool tail. So I think this one will be fine to do this. We make it innate. Just, you know, do a little this, a little that. We can just got it here. And this is how I make most of my own kicks. I literally just yoink my own kicks. Here you go. And then you can put this here. I think it would be 9 now. Here we go. And this might just sound cool. We'll see. Alright, there's so much fucking distortion on that one. final kick. Kick made out of kick, you know, you can do that. The last one, so, you know, just I have a couple things made, and I can, you know, show that off. So yeah, that's kind of just how I make kicks. Afterwards, I kind of just make them in one project, load them in another, or sometimes when I make them out of other kicks, my actual punches, I do export some of those, just like the tone, dry, no reverb, no nothing. I do export those to files so I can like load them into projects. I'm making an actual song, and I don't have to bother with just sound designing the fucking kick in a separate project. You know, because it's like all my CPU usage and all the like, you know, limited FL channel meme. We know how it is. Anyways, that'll be it. So here's you know couple ones with this. Pretty cool, funny tail at the end. This one's just, you know, kind of a cool little this at that point. This one definitely shows off the breathiness that you get out of the reverb automation. This one's nice too. One of my favorites out of this, again, the tails on those kicks actually didn't distort them too much. You can clip those a bit more if you want. I generally end up doing that in a project again, where I make the punch a bit quieter and the tail a bit louder. It's up to you to kind of balance things however you think will work best. And this one has the funny fart at the end of the tail. And this one's not more chill. But again, cool samples. Like, you can just make that stuff. And that's just stuff I made and that I think sounds kind of nice. Probably think this sounds like shit, right? You might be like, oh, I do it like this, with like that, other ideas. And it's fine. Look at the bits that you want to make and make them differently. For example, one thing I do, I'm not really going to show it because it's a bit boring and I've been at this for a bit too long now. You can make the punches, with serum, using like a wavetable, and you put like some filters on it and you put some effects, you do some movements. Again, bunch of stuff you can do. It's just up to you to do stuff. I'm not your mom. So yeah, just do whatever the fuck. It's cool. Anyways, this has been going on for too long. I'm gonna kill myself.